Welcome dear students to certificate course on groundwater exploration organized by Department of Geology Sri Shivaji Science College Amravati. I Saurabh Paunikar, Assistant Professor Department of Geology Sri Shivaji Science College Amravati will be discussing today's topic on elements and components of hydrological cycle. Precipitation, evaporation, transpiration, infiltration, runoff and groundwater are components of hydrological cycle. Let's talk about precipitation. All form of water, that is rain, snowfall, hail, frost, dew, from atmosphere reaching the earth is your precipitation. Let's discuss some of the known terms but you may not have much clear idea about it. What is snowfall? Snow, that is nothing but your ice combined with air. It is called as snow. So those are ice crystals that grow while suspended in the atmosphere due to lower temperature. Hail, those are pellets of frozen rain which fall in showers from cumulonimbus clouds. Frost, a deposit of small white ice crystals formed on the ground or other surfaces while the temperature falls below freezing. Now, how precipitation is measured? It is measured with the help of rain gauge. Over here, you can see very well there is a schematic diagram of rain gauge. Okay, so measuring the amount of rain that has fallen over specific time period, that is the work of your rain gauge. A rain gauge measures the amount of rainfall. The standard rain gauge consists of a long narrow cylindrical cylinder capable of measuring rainfall up to usually 8 inches. Now, types of precipitation. It is categorized into three types: conventional precipitation, orographic precipitation, and cyclonic precipitation. Let's see one by one. Conventional precipitation. In this type of precipitation, a packet of air which is warmer than surrounding air due to localized heating rises above its lesser density air from cooler surrounding flow to take up its place and thus setting up a convective cell. So now, so now, let's discuss about types of precipitation. Basically, it is differentiated into three types: conventional precipitation, orographic precipitation, and cyclonic precipitation. Now let's see conventional precipitation. In this type of precipitation, a packet of air which is warmer than the surrounding air due to localized heating rises because of lesser density. Air from cooler surrounding flow to take up its place, thus setting up a convective cell. The warm air continues to rise, undergoes cooling, and results in precipitation. Depending upon the moisture, thermal, and other condition, light shower to thunderstorm can be expected in convective precipitation. Usually, the areal extent of such rain is smaller, being limited to diameter of around 10 kilometers. Now let's see about orographic precipitation. The moist air masses may get lifted up to higher altitude due to presence of mountains, barriers and consequently undergo cooling, condensation and precipitation. Such precipitation is known as orographic precipitation. This in mountain ranges, the windward slopes have heavy precipitation and the leeward slopes have lighter precipitation. Now what I'm trying to say is, if this is a mountain and clouds are traveling from this direction, so this side this side of the slope, that is windward slope, will receive more rainfall, and this will be the leeward side of the slope which will receive lesser rainfall. Okay. Now, cyclonic precipitation. A cyclone is a large low pressure region with circular wind motion. Two types of cyclones are considered. One, that is tropical cyclone, are considered, and second is extratropical cyclone. Okay. A tropical cyclone is large whirling mass. At the center of this mass, the diameter is low in pressure. The central portion acts as chimney through which air rises, expands, cools dynamically, and produces condensation, and usually results in precipitation. Tropical cyclones cause heavy damage to life, property on their land path, and intense rainfall and heavy floods in streams are its usual consequences. As being Indians, we have seen all this recently. A extratropical cyclones is formed in location outside the tropical zones. The magnitude of precipitation and wind velocities is relatively lower than those of tropical cyclones. However, the duration of precipitation is usually longer, and the areal extent also is longer. It is some part of meteoric water evaporates before reaching ground or settles on vegetation, that is your interception. Evaporation, that is liquid turning to gaseous state at free surface below boiling point through transfer of heat energy. Net escape of water molecules from liquid state to gaseous state constitute evaporation. This rate of evaporation depends on vapor pressure at water surface and air above, air, water temperature, wind speed, atmospheric pressure, water quality, and water body size. Transpiration. Process of evaporation and transpiration are considered under one head as evapotranspiration in hydrology and irrigation practices. When there are water losses from surface of plant due to heat, it is nothing but your transpiration. Transpiration reduces amount of water available from stream flow or for recharge to groundwater reservoir. Infiltration. It is nothing but water soaking process into soil or permeable rocks. Speed of water soaking by ground is nothing but your infiltration rate. Okay, and this rate depends on soil type, its permeability and texture, vegetation cover. It is significant in distribution magnitude of surface runoff. Primary step in groundwater recharge. Okay, so for groundwater recharge, the basics, or it will always start from infiltration. Okay, and then it will go downwards, it will head towards downwards journey, it will reach to water table. We will discuss in further. Then max rate at which given soil absorbs water at given time is your infiltration capacity. Runoff. So what is runoff? The amount of rainwater running away from where it has fall. That is nothing but runoff. So when there is a rain, some part of it will go inside earth. That is your infiltration. And the remaining part of it will flow over the land. Okay, that is your runoff. It represents output from given catchment in a given unit of time. Excess precipitation moving over land surface reaching smaller channel, that is overland flow. Okay. Infiltrated part of precipitation moving laterally through upper soil and reaching to surface at some other point, that is your interflow or seepage. Okay. There are two categories. There is a direct runoff and there is a base flow. So what we see by our eyes, that is the water which enters stream immediately after precipitation. Example, surface runoff, interflow, precipitation on channel surface, etc. That is direct runoff. The water which is a part of groundwater, or that we can say a base flow. We have come across this terminology base flow in previous diagram also. So that is delayed flow reaching stream essentially as a groundwater. Okay. Runoff thus represent integrated effects of catchment, climate and precipitation. Water occurring beneath Earth's surface is nothing but your groundwater. So which is not visible to us, but it is there in the rock pores inside the Earth's surface. That water is your groundwater. Rate of infiltration helps in percolation of water down to ground, and the water reaching the water table level forms groundwater. In this diagram you can see here, this is a water table level. Now you can see there are forms of subsurface water. One is in the zone of saturation and another is in the zone of aeration. This line demarcates water table level. Under this line or this mark, the all pores in the rocks are filled with water. So all possible spaces in rock is filled with water in this portion. That is your zone of saturation. And above this level, all the pores are not filled with water. That is, some of the pores are filled with water and some of them are filled with air. So this portion is zone of aeration, right? And this line demarcating or separating this is nothing but your water table level. When we intend to tap groundwater, when we intend to go for a well, we want this water table. We want to tap a hole from here till this water table, so we have a constant flow of water. Okay. In zone of aeration, we have soil water zone, that is the top one. The capillary zone, here there is a capillary action from your zone of saturation, and intermediate zone. This zone is nothing but your intermediate zone. This is your groundwater. These are the references. Thank you.